حامدا وصليا وسلما. It is Tuesday, the 12th of March. Alhamdulillah, we are starting the first lesson of the Ramadan course. Each lesson will be approximately 5 to 10 minutes. If anyone has any questions after listening to the audio, if you have my number, you can inshallah message and ask your questions. So we start bi-idhnillah. So we know that Ramadan has a great virtue, and this is why Ibn Rajab rahimahullah ta'ala in his work Lata'iful Ma'arif, he writes that the Sahaba, may Allah be pleased with them all, would make dua 6 months prior to Ramadan, that, oh Allah, allow us to witness Ramadan. And 6 months after Ramadan, they would continue making dua for the acceptance of the worship they carried out in Ramadan. Now, generally, people give zakat in Ramadan. It's one of the pillars of Islam. It's a means of purifying our wealth. However, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions a stern warning in Surah Tawbah chapter 9 verse 34 and 35 in regards to those who do not give zakat. Allah makes mention, give good news of a painful torment to those who hoard gold and silver and do not spend it in Allah's cause. The day will come when their treasure will be heated up in the fire of hell, and their foreheads, sides and backs branded with it. It will be said to them, this is the treasure you hoarded for yourselves. Now taste what you hoarded. This is a stern warning for those who do not give zakat. Now the question is, who has to give zakat? Number one, a Muslim. Number two, someone who is sane. So an insane person does not give zakat. Number three, mature. The person giving zakat will be baligh. And number four, he has to own the nisaab, which is the threshold for giving zakat. In silver, it is 612.36 grams of silver or 87.48 grams of gold, or the equivalent in cash. Now currently in the UK, as of 12th of March, as per the Wifaq website, it is £373 and 54 pence. This is the nisaab of zakat in the UK. So if someone has this, as soon as you have £373 and 54, that is now the start of your zakat anniversary. So a year later, as long as you have this amount or surplus, then you'll have to give zakat. Now, it's possible that during the year, from the start date to the end date, your wealth will fluctuate. It's possible your wealth may go below 373. You may only have £200. This will not affect you having to give zakat as long as the start date and the end date, your anniversary, as long as you have 373.54. The only time your zakat anniversary will change is if you go to nil in terms of your wealth. And then your zakat anniversary will start again once you then meet the nisaab, and a year later you will then pay your zakat. And that now becomes your new zakat day. Bearing in mind, there is no zakat on the wealth of children who are not baligh, not mature. Generally, girls become baligh 9 onwards and boys 12 onwards. But it's important we look out for the signs. If a male has not become baligh by the age of 15, and that's in terms of the Islamic lunar calendar, then the child is automatically considered baligh. Another point to note is the zakat of each person is separate. Generally, a question often asked is that my parents have been paying my zakat for years, obviously with the person's approval. Now, one of the issues with that is for someone else to pay your zakat, they would need to know exactly how much you own. And in the environment we live in, very few people share their financial status with others. So it's important that we try and pay our own zakat. So a wife should be paying her own zakat. Yes, at times, often a question asked is, my wife needs to pay zakat on her gold. She has no cash. Can I pay her zakat on her behalf for her gold? That's fine. But generally, we should all try and pay our own zakat, as we are more aware of what we own. And then we move on to the translation of the 3 verses of Surah Fatiha, which is the surah read in every salah, in every rakat. Allah makes mention, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, I seek refuge in Allah from shaitan the accursed. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, all praise belongs to Allah, the Lord of all the worlds. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful. Maliki Yawmiddin, the owner of the Day of Judgment. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'een, you alone do we worship and you alone do we ask for help. Alhamdulillah, this concludes the first lesson. Allah make it a means of benefit. Wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen.